Assalamu alaikum, my dear beloved students. Today we are not going to learn anything, but today we are here to share some information and an introduction of English, which may pave the way to learn English well. Yeah, my dear students, today we are in an orientation class of English, and I am feeling super excited to be a part of this orientation class. My dear students, this is your English teacher Md.Imo Hossain, and today I am here to present an orientation class in front of you. My friends, this orientation session I have designed in 4 segments. In the first segment, we will discuss about the syllabus and then the marks distribution, and later we will have a trip to our textbook, and at last we will see what is new in our syllabus. You have to face a very vast syllabus in these 2 years of HSC. Your syllabus is divided into 2 papers. In the first papers you have to face a syllabus of 100 marks, and again in the second paper you have to face another 100 marks syllabus, my dear students. So let's go. Firstly, we will discuss what is in our syllabus of English first paper. I previously said you have to face a very vast syllabus even in English first paper. And in English first paper you have to face 100 marks syllabus. And in these 100 marks there is 60 marks allocated for reading test and another 40 marks for writing test as well. So in the writing test you have to face 3 passages. I say 3 passages, and in the first passage you have to do some MCQ question and some open-ended question from this, and in the second passage you have to have some information transfer or some flowchart, and this flowchart is some sort of new which you did not practice when you were a student of school. Don't worry, I obviously managed something to show you which may make you understand clearly which is this flowchart, my dear students. And in the third passage you have to make a summary of that passage, and by this 3 passage you have to face 35 marks of 100 syllabus, my dear students. And then you have some more reading test, and in this reading test you have to answer 2 clause tests. The first one is clause test with clause, and the second one is clause test without clause. And another thing you have to face, that is called rearrangement of a story. And here you will be awarded with 10 marks if you can answer the rearrangement questions properly. So this was the part of reading item, but you have to face another part which is called writing test, my dear students. In the writing test you have to answer another 40 marks. In this 40 marks you have writing paragraph answering questions, completing story, writing information and emails, analyzing maps, graphs, charts, and then appreciating short stories of poems. And here I have a note for you. It is actually identifying theme, subject matter and interpretation of that story or poems. These types of question of appreciating short stories and poems may be alien to you. Don't worry, I'm going to discuss about these types of questions in the later part of this orientation class. And you see, by this writing part you are going to be awarded with 40 marks. So in the reading part you got 60, and here another 40 marks, total 100 marks syllabus for your first paper. And then the syllabus of second paper, my dear students. In the second paper syllabus you have to face grammar and some writing test as well, like the first paper what we discussed before. Here you have to answer minimum 12 questions in terms of applied grammar, and another 40 marks is allocated for you for composition or writing test. In the part A or grammar, you have to answer some gap filling activities with clause, gap filling activities without clause, and the first one is for articles and the second one is for preposition, and gap filling with clause with special uses of some words and phrase, and where they are common, like was born, have to, has to, would rather, had better, let alone, what if, etc. And the question number 4, completing sentence using conditional sentence, phrase or clause. And in number 5, use of verbs. Number 6, changing sentence. In number 7, narrative style, direct to indirect and vice versa. And then pronoun referencing, and then use of modifier. And in question number 10, you have to answer use of sentence connectors, and then use of synonym antonym, and at last in this portion you have to answer punctuation. All these question claims 5 marks for you, my dear students, but I have managed a note for you which is actually for the question setter, but you have to know this because of your betterment. Question setter will use all items for the above list and make questions of 5 marks for each question items. Test item must have context sentence which are isolated and out of context cannot be given as questions. Question setters will prepare the test items. No questions will be set from the textbook or and by help of books. So you see, question setter must arrange the question from him or herself. So be careful, don't try to memorize anything or try to copy anything from your books. Books are only for practice, my dear students. And in the part B, you have to answer some question which is related to the writing section, and so it is called composition, my dear students. In compositions, like first paper, you have to answer 4 questions. The first one is formal letter or email, and the second one is report writing, and the third one is paragraph writing, and the last one is free writing, which is composition or an essay in 200 to 250 words, my dear students. And here in this writing part, you will be awarded with 40 marks as well. So this was the syllabus of first and second paper. Now we are going to discuss something about the mark distribution. What will be the mark for every question? So let's see at a glance what is in the mark distribution. In English first paper mark distribution, what we discussed before, you have to answer 2 part of question. The first part you are going to have reading test, and in the second part you are going to have writing test. In the reading test you are going to have 5 marks in the first passage, and it is MCQ, and 10 marks in the passage, which is called open-ended questions, where you are going to award it with 2 marks for every correct short questions answer passage. And in the second passage you are going to answer an information transfer or a flowchart, and for this you are going to be awarded with 10 marks. And then summarizing, and for this summarizing 10 marks is allocated for you, my dear students. So passage claims 35 marks, but clause test with clause, and in this clause test with clause you are going to have 5 marks, as this is some sort of easy because of its presence of clause. You are going to have half marks for every right answer, and in clause test without clause you are going to have 1 marks for every right answer, and that's why clause test without clause claim 10 marks, my dear students. And then rearrangement claims another 10 marks in reading text. So in this reading text there is in total 60 marks. And in the writing test, writing paragraph answering question claims 10 marks, and completing story claims 7 marks, and then writing letters or email claim only 5 marks, and appreciating a short story or poem claims another 8 marks, my dear students. So English first paper claim total 100 marks in their marks distribution, my dear students. In question number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, you see in these 5 questions you are going to have 5 marks for each, and you have to answer 10 questions in each items, my dear students. And all the items here I am talking about gap filling activities, and there with clue, my dear students. But in question number 6 you have to answer a changing sentence, and here you are going to be awarded with 1 marks for every right answer. And then question number 7 you have narration, and in this question you cannot escape only by doing direct to indirect narration, but you have to do narration which is indirect to direct, my dear students. And then question number 8 you have to answer pronoun referencing, where 1 mark will be awarded for every right answer. And then question number 9 modifiers, where you are going to be awarded with half marks for every right answer. And then synonym, antonym, and use of punctuation marks. Here you are always welcome to have half marks for every right answer. So in this grammar part you are going to have 60 marks, and the writing parts as well. In application you are going to have 8 marks, in the report writing another 8 marks, and in the paragraph writing you are going to have 10 marks, and in short essay or in the composition you are going to be awarded with 14 marks, my dear students. So total 100 marks syllabus. Students, now we are going to have a trip to our textbook which we are going to read in the future 2 years. Let's see what is in our textbook. You see, this is the cover page of our textbook. You can buy this textbook from any library of Bangladesh. I want to share some information about this textbook. My dear student, this textbook, English for Today, is developed by NCTB and designed according to the CLT method, that means communicative learning method, and it is a package of 15 units. So I want to share information about textbook. Like this textbook is a package of 15 units, what I said before, and each unit has several lessons based on single theme, a lot of group works and class works, gap filling activities, and some literary text also included in this textbook, my dear students. So let's see what is in the units. In the units you see the unit number 1, people, industries, making history, and it contains 3 lessons. And then greatest scientific achievement, it contains 4 lessons, and dream contains 3 lessons, human relationship contains 3 lessons, art and music contains 3 lessons, and unit number 6, adolescence, contains 5 lessons, human rights contains 4 lessons, traffic education contains 5 lessons, and number 9, diaspora contains 4 lessons, and number 10, peace and conflict contains 5 lessons, and number 11, tours and travel contains 4 lessons, environment and nature contains 5 lessons, and unit number 3, foral alteration, contains only 2 lessons, and unit number 14, myth and literature, contains 4 lessons, and unit number 15, path to higher education, contains 3 lessons. Almost 157 lessons, my dear students. So this book is really huge. Be careful, you have to study very carefully. If you analyze the board question very carefully, you see some units of this book is very important. Let's see. You see, people, institutions, and making history came in Joshua Board 2019 and Dhaka Board 2019 and Borishal Board 2007 as well. And traffic education. Traffic education was important for Dhaka Board and Dinajpur Board and Sylhet Board and Joshua Board in 2018. And food alteration was important for passage number 3 for Joshua Board in 2017. On the other hand, in 2019 and 2017, Rajshahi and Kumilla Board said their question from human relationship units, and in 2019, Borishal Board said their question for passage number 3 from human relationship unit. And then adolescence, you see Dhaka and Dinajpur Board and Borishal Board said their question in 2019 from adolescence unit, and obviously Dhaka Board in 2017 said their question from adolescence unit, and Dhaka Board also said adolescence unit for their passage number 3 in 2017. You see, Path to Higher Education is important passage because it is very important for passage number 3. You see Joshua, Kumilla, Sylhet selected this unit for their question in 2019, and Dhaka, Borishal used it in 2017. On the other hand, Dhaka, Dinajpur, Sylhet and Joshua used in 2018. Human rights, this passage was said an exam of Rajshahi Board in 2017. On the other hand, environment and nature, you see this unit is very important for all categories of passage. In passage number 1, passage number 2 and passage number 3, they are huge. Kumilla Board 2019, Dhaka, Rajshahi, Joshua, Sylhet Board and Borishal Board 2017. And for passage number 2, Chittagong Board used it in 2019. On the other hand, for passage number 3, Sylhet Board used it in 2017, and Rajshahi, Kumilla, Chittagong, Borishal used it in 2018 for their passage number 3. And you see, myth and literature was used in Sylhet Board's question in 2019 and also in as passage number 2 in Kumilla Board 2019, Dhaka Board 2019 and Chittagong Board 2017. And dreams is an unit which was never seen as a board question, but it is very important for its 2 poems. And then you see diaspora. Diaspora was used in Chittagong Board in 2017 and for passage number 2 in Rajshahi Board and Borishal Board 2019. Peace and conflict, this unit was used in Joshua Board in 2019, and in 2018 all board used it, my dear students. And you see greatest scientific achievement was only used in 2019 in the question of Sylhet Board. You see, art and music was used in 2018 by Rajshahi, Kumilla, Borishal and Chittagong Board, and by the second passage, Dhaka Board used in 2019 and Joshua Board used in 2017. Tours and travels was never important for any board question, my dear student. You see another thing, that passages of the last portions of our books were never important for the passage number 3. So you see, this book is huge and very important for the board questions and university admission test as well, because there are some textual poems which is very important for the board questions and university admission test question as well, because in the university test question you are going to have some questions in terms of literature, and these questions will probably be taken from literary text from your textbooks. So as textual poems, you are going to have 12 poems in your textbooks. This is the list of that poems. So you see, you have 12 poems, my dear students. Without these textual poems, question setter may use some poems which is not included in your textbook, but the quantity of that non-textual poems in terms of board questions are very little. You see, almost all the poems of your textbook have been used as the textual poems of board questions, and sometimes there are some non-textual poems as well, so you have to read both the textual and non-textual poems to answer this portion very carefully. Now come about the classwork, group work and the class test or the gap filling activities of these textbook, my dear students. Students, you are going to have almost 37 class tests without clause and with clause in your textbook, and that's why from 2017 to today, question setter used class test with clause from your textbook almost 6 times and 9 times from the previous textbook. So my dear student, previous textbook, this textbook what we are going to have in our hands inaugurated from 2015, but prior to that there was a textbook, some important classwork and class test with clue and without clue. Board question used some questions from those texts of that previous textbook, and it is not less than 9 times. And if you talk about class test without clause, this book is enough for you if you want to practice. Almost all the board question set from the textbook from 2017 to 2019 except 2 times non-textual, and in this non-textual without clue was from the previous textbook, my dear students. So this was about the books what we are going to read in your classroom. So you may have some question, what is new and what was not included in your previous books of. Don't worry, I have managed a slide for you. You see, in the first paper you are going to face 2 new items. One is flowchart and another is theme writing, and in second paper you have to use 4 new items and all are about grammar. The first one is spatial use of words or phrase, and the second one is use of modifiers. Third one is pronoun referencing, and the another one is synonym antonym, which were not included in the books of your SSC, my students. So what are the flowchart? Flowchart is like this. You will have 6 boxes like this, and you have to fill up this box. For all the correct answer you will get 10 marks and 2 marks for each. And here theme writing, you will have a poem or a literary text or a story to have appreciating or analyzing that, and for this you can use only 50 marks. And in second paper you have to use special word or phrase. You will have a question like this: complete the sentence using suitable clause and phrase, and you have to have some clause, or sometimes you don't have any clause here and you have to use some suitable phrase like have to, would rather, or something like this. And then modifier, this is completely new for you. Here you have a direction like this: read the following text and use modifier as directed in the blank spaces. You see there is a direction for you in the bracket. You have to follow that direction and answer the question. And then pronoun referencing. In this question you will have a small passage where there is some pronoun which is not clear or wrongly referred. You have to rewrite the whole passage and correct the pronoun referencing in the passage. And synonym antonym, you will have a passage where there are some words and sometimes words will be underlined and then rearranged in number in the later part of the passage. You have to write the antonym or synonym according to the direction of these words. So my dear students, these were the new questions. Don't worry, we are always with you to make you understand clearly how to answer and how to get good marks. Now my dear students, this is the time to make you introduce to your faculty. My dear friends, in Iqbal Siddiquee College, we have a very enriched English department where there is a trinity of 3 teachers. The first one is Mr. Md.Imo Hossain, who is working here from 2015, from the beginning of this college, and the second one is Mr. Amitabh Haldar, who is also a lecturer and working here in these institutions from 2011, and he is also working here from the beginning of this college. And the third one is none other than the speaker of this orientation class, and it's Mr. Md.Imo Hossain, your English teacher, and I am also a lecturer, and I have been here working since 2019. We all meet you in the class and eagerly waiting to see you in front of us in the benches. And we'll have some fun in the class when we learn English. We'll have fun and learn and fun, my dear student. Don't worry, we're always with you. So this was my orientation class, my dear students. I hope you enjoy the class. Nothing more today. Tada, bye bye. Assalamu alaikum.